it really is simple economics. When you tax something, and in fact, raising the minimum wage is essentially a government-imposed tax, you get less of it. And in this case, you get fewer jobs. So our goal here today is to share with you the business community's perspective on this issue, which we think has been somewhat lacking in the discussion.
You know, we've been having a conversation about the minimum wage for a long time, many years, and from the business community's perspective, it's always been intuitive that raising the minimum wage will result in job loss. And that's primarily because if you increase labor costs for businesses are going to respond by either cutting jobs, cutting hours, or hiring less. Last month, when the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office released their report talking about what a $10.10 minimum wage would mean at the national level, and they had predicted, I think as many of you know, that we would lose about 500,000 jobs nationwide by increasing the minimum wage to that level. We came across some research from the Employment Policies Institute, which is a nonprofit organization out in Washington that studies labor laws, including the minimum wage. And they did a 50-state analysis of what increasing the minimum wage to $10.10 an hour would do. And in Wisconsin, the mid-range impact that they project would be a loss of more than 27,000 jobs. To be specific, their projection is that Wisconsin would lose 27,659 jobs. If you look at what eliminating 27,000 jobs from Wisconsin's workforce would do, you can see it's a significant drop in employment and would adversely affect the economy in what we think is a very profound way. And the president, he's in Connecticut today talking about it. We've got gubernatorial candidate Mary Burke, who has been very out in front of supporting a minimum wage at $10.10 an hour. And then we have Representative Corey Mason, the Democratic legislator from Racine, who has introduced Assembly Bill 686 and the companion legislation, Senate Bill 505, both of which would raise the minimum wage in Wisconsin to $10.10 an hour. We had a poll done on a statewide basis, conducted last week by the Terrence Group. They're a national polling firm, a very highly respected polling firm out of Alexandria, Virginia. And they did a poll of likely voters and asked the question, would you support raising the minimum wage to $10.10 an hour? And what they found was overall support for doing that at 53%. But when they asked the follow-up question and said a recent study has suggested that Wisconsin stands to lose 27,000 jobs if we increase the minimum wage to that level, the support for doing so drops off dramatically.
State and federal policymakers and candidates most often, we believe, don't have the business experience or the background to back up proposals to increase the minimum wage. They simply don't understand what that mandate means. And it's not just increasing from $7.25 an hour to $10.10. They miss a very important point. It is not just one wage scale. It is every wage scale in your employment, in your employees that gets impacted. As I said, it's a disincentive to work. It doesn't foster people in the workplace saying, if I do a good job, if I meet my goals and objectives for the week or the month or the year, I can get a raise. I can move forward in this organization. I can become a greater part of this workforce. It doesn't happen.
Raising the minimum wage sounds like a really good idea when you don't know what the repercussions will be. A small business just can't come up with the money out of thin air to pay the mandated wage increase. The increased wages can really only come from two places. They can come from raising prices or a combination of cutting hours or cutting jobs.
You know, the days of disguising functional illiteracy with government mandating a workforce starting wage level are over. We need to stop subscribing to the economic theories of the 60s and the 50s and embrace the economic realities of the new century. Legislators are right to search for ways to help the working poor, but wrong to think that raising the minimum wage is one of them. And when all is said and done, raising the minimum wage actually puts very little disposable income in the pockets of individual workers. To the contrary, for those who are the victims of fewer hours or lost job opportunities, earned income will likely be lost. The bottom line is that someone, employers, workers, consumers, must pay the costs associated with an increased minimum wage. Discussions about a minimum starting wage are no longer relevant. Rather, what we need are discussions on maximum wage. That is, how to maximize the wages of the workforce by creating more jobs on the main streets and communities all across Wisconsin. Maximum opportunity through meaningful work, through valuable employment that encourages personal initiative, through job skills training, through literacy skills training, and promoting enterprise, which will add to our economic value and quality of life for everyone.